Hi, and welcome to Soft Focused, the podcast taking average moviegoers and partnering them up with people who study film to talk about movies they've just watched together and kind of discuss why the average moviegoers like the things they like and can be explained to by the people who study it. Today, as always, I'm your host, Connor Hamilton, and I am joined with...
I'm Matt Shahwan.
And I'm Patrick Guinen.
And today we'll be talking about the movie Clockwork Orange, a Stanley Kubrick film released in 1971. This is a movie set in a futuristic world with a sadistic gang leader who really is just this anarchist who kind of does what he wants because he wants to do it, and kind of his journey through his government system and their efforts to try to make him conform to society's norms. I guess I'll start off after that movie. That was a long movie.
It was long. It was pretty crazy. It was a wild ride.
Yeah, definitely a roller coaster of emotions in that movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, I felt definitely like I started in a place of confusion and ended in a place of confusion, but I learned something on the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Not really 100% sure what I learned, just that something was learned.
Yeah.
I think that this might be one of Stanley Kubrick's best films. Its use of sets, music, their actors, the story, that narrative behind it all, but like being a hard thing to watch was just an amazing experience.
Fun fact, this was his first solo screenplay. He was the guy who read the novella and adapted it to a script, but he did it all himself, and this sort of got him on the road of I'm Stanley Kubrick and I can do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like what you were saying about the setting and the music and everything, but like especially the setting, I just thought all of the scenes that were set up in this film were just like brilliant, because all of them, from the hospital to I guess the movie theater where they did all the experiments, I think that was just all like crafted perfectly, and I think it really like gave a good sense of what they were trying to portray in this movie, and just it really shows like kind of all the agony that Alex put up with like throughout this movie.
Yeah, like
What do you mean put up with? I mean, let's be fair.
Well,
he had everything coming to him.
I guess, but like he really did put up with all those experiments. Like,
yeah,
literally every time he had a bad thought, he felt like he was on the verge of dying.
Yeah, well,
like that's crazy.
Yeah.
one of the interesting things about the movie is like you really kind of see Alex start off this, I do what I want because I'm me. I can do whatever I want because I'm me. Like, he's so narcissistic and in his own head, and like he's mind. You can just tell the cuts of him just staring, like he's got 1,000 miles away thinking about things. And it's amazing once he gets into the prison and you see like that religious scene where he's listening, and then you see the Jesus walking, and then he's whipping him behind him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really where you start to see that conformity get into his brain. Like, he's no longer the guy getting whipped by society, this tortured soul who no one understands, that just does what he thinks is like this anti establishment guy. Not saying he's very much like Jesus, other than that base useless line, but he then ends up, the guy whipping him, a member of like, I see why society does this. And I think that's kind of where the story started,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree, because that was like one of the first points where the movie took a turn that I wasn't expecting. Because when he went to prison, I was expecting him to like sort of pull an anarchist in prison. It's like, these are my people. I'm gonna rule them. I thought he was gonna like be the circus leader, and then it turns out he's conforming to society while in there.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, the prison. The prison's doing what they wanted. Like,
Yeah,
it's working.
yeah, I literally had the same thoughts.
Yeah. I think too, just with the amazing portrayal of an anti-hero from the beginning, someone you really just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
You can never get behind him. He's like you're always just like, you're an asshole, but you're entertaining to watch.
Yeah, he's very much someone to. He's like a train wreck. He's just someone you can't look away from, but like he gets points where you're like, that's just too gruesome to look at. Like,
Yeah.
Did you guys like ever start feeling bad for him?
there were points, and towards the middle and end, where you kind of like you just felt like I don't know if that's the right punishment for him. Like the punishment should fit the crime, and what they did to him was kind of overboard. I
The
felt.
only moment I ever really had sympathy for him was at the very end when like the police or the doctor comes and like all the reporters come and he's taking pictures of shaking hands. That was the only time I really had sympathy for him because up until then he kind of deserved everything. And there's at that moment where society officially has taken advantage of him.
I guess I can agree with that, but I mean, personally, I started feeling bad for him like as soon as he got out of the experiment.
Like went home.
Yeah, like especially like right when he got home, like they were starting to rent out his room to another guy, and yeah, his mom was crying and everything, but it really seemed like they did not care about him coming back at all.
See, I 100% agree with you. I was feeling bad for him right there. Like, I'm like, oh man, like he's changed. They did the mind thing on him. Like he's a different guy. He doesn't like that stuff anymore. But then he like got up in that guy's face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so he's not changed. That's like really when I realized what the experiment was.
guess.
It was that he
It was
wasn't,
hiding
his mind hadn't
the
been
dark.
changed, being like, oh, this is good now. What that is evil. Now it's, I can't do bad things
It's like-
or I feel bad. Like
Either
my
chemical
body, like,
has changed.
Yeah,
I
like-
guess.
it's just that punishment. It's like, like if you imagine like a bracelet, like electric shocking him every time he did something bad. It's like literally just something else stopping him from doing bad, not himself from stopping him from doing bad.
Yeah. I mean, I was never convinced that he was cured.
No.
I was under the influence that he was taught to suppress his dark feelings inside his head and just like ignore them, but obviously he can't ignore them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the free will with the kind of one of the main themes of the thing is, like when you took that away from him, like though he now can't do these bad things.
Does he have the choice?
Yeah, like is he a good person? Like he wants to do bad things, but he can't. And, like it's just like it's more of a situation of like
He could become a
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah. He just can't like get there. One other thing I want to talk about is like human nature and really what that means, like because I think that really hits a lot through the story of Alex, this evil anarchist kid. Like what is his human nature to be evil, like to be bad, and then you see the human nature of other characters, with the writer who kind of manipulates him in the beginning, like he like starts off like, oh, you've been done wrong, let me help you,
And then
it's
he
like,
realizes who it is and he's like snaps.
yeah, but even before that, like he was calling up his political things, he was trying to use him for his political gain,
Yeah.
like kind of in that, like using him into an ends to a mean for himself. So it's like this lines of human nature, and like you can be driven so far past what you consider you when like you're confronted with someone who's done this much wrong to you, like that
Yeah.
writer was.
It really kind of establishes that nobody is good. It's just that society doesn't like the ultra-violence.
Yeah. It's an interesting commentary, I think, on it all. Like, especially like since at the end of the day, like everyone was really kind of manipulating everyone else, and like I mean like just like for the sole fact that he was used in the beginning because he wanted to do what he wanted to do, that anarchist life. Then he was in prison and he was like suffered to like control, like this stay in line. And then you talk about like control outside of that, like he was his own boss. He had to listen to these people, and you saw that control in those buildings. Then he moved out to the hospital and then was under the control of these scientists. And then once leaving the hospital, he thought he was back under his own control, but these groups coming before him had altered him so much that his brain no longer was that original kid before the system. And then in the end, the government comes back to control him once more, to spin this public, like, because like the government doesn't feel like what they did to him was wrong. but the public does.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna make up for it. They're like, you know what? Yeah, they want you to feel better. So
Yeah, and they said like in the end in the end of the movie, I don't know what that guy's name was.
the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah, I think it was like I think at the end he said his name was like Frederick or something.
Oh yeah. But yeah, he said that like the government lost a lot of popularity because of him, and I thought that was very interesting to see him continue to play the system and say like, oh yeah, we could be friends.
Do you think he was playing the system?
Absolutely. And I guess this is something I wanted to save for this time right now. I had a question about, I guess, the last scene when he's I guess not the paparazzi, but everyone's taking pictures of him and the doctor shaking hands and like seeming like friends, and then it cuts to another scene where it's like his dirty thoughts again, and it's like him, I guess, in heaven, like just performing some acts against a woman. And then it cut to a black screen, and then it said, "Yeah, I'm cured," like in a jokingly way, and I was like really confused by that, and like a lot of thoughts went in my head, like, was he? I guess, I mean, we already said like we thought that he wasn't cured; he was kind of just like stopped. I guess, yeah.
Conformed.
Yeah. But like, what do you guys think he meant by that? Like, yeah, I'm cured. Like, how long do you think he would keep putting up with this?
I think he'd put up with it forever. Like, if he's playing the system, he's gonna tell you he's cured and then like do it his own way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great, like, that ending is just such a good idea of like what the movie was, because like throughout the whole time you're never really sure what Alex's goal is.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to do here? Like, are you trying to get cured? Are you trying to do this? Like, you could tell early on, like when he's robbing these people, like he has this drawer full of like stuff he just stole. He's like not doing anything with it. He's not pawning it for money. He doesn't need the money for anything. He just does things, and it's just like, I think that's what Kubrick was trying to get like your brain into. It's just like, though you took away his like anarchy, like this, be able to do physical violence and do these things, he's like, he's still evil. Like he still manipulates. He still gets his way. He just does it in new forms. And he's like, I think the idea is to just that little last unsubtle, like, is there a way to fix these people? Are we always going to be like stuck on like how someone reacts to something?
As someone who saw the film for the first time almost 50 years after it was released, it definitely like felt like sort of an origin story for like a Joker villain character.
Yeah.
Like very much psychotic thriller through the mind of an anarchist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really saw the connection between Alex and the Joker. They really had like similar qualities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, I mean, I think as villains go, the Joker, Alex, these are some of the scariest people you see on screens, and it's because
they look normal.
Yeah, it's almost this like,
they're just psychotic.
it's this pure like, I don't know what your motivation is. Like, you could be cool, then you could be crazy, then you could be cool again, and I don't know what made you crazy in between. Like, it's just like that. We as humans do not like that. Like, it's the one reason we don't like masks. We can't tell what a person's thinking by looking at them. We're like, what are you
What's
doing?
your deal?
Like, who are you? Like, that freaks us out. And I think that Kubrick does a good job. Like, he doesn't, like, when he wears those masks, obviously, but then like this mask he wears at the beginning with the eye and the lashes and this like the bowler has, he just stares, is almost just like, that's not a human. Like, that's not, there's no expression flashing on his face, no like micro movements, nothing. It's just
That's
him
a psychopath
thinking,
like just yeah.
just not good. And yeah, so one other thing I did a little research on while watching the movie was the title. Did you guys like get what the title was?
No.
A Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange, no.
So yeah, I was a little confused. I think it might just because it's a little bit of a British name or an older timey name. You're talking about a Clockwork Orange is like a wind up orange, with like gears on the inside.
Okay.
So the idea is that it looks like a succulent piece of fruit, but on the inside it's being controlled and wound up. So that's what they were trying to like relate to him. Like, is he an orange something made from God, this ripe fruit, all this stuff, or is he something made by society to look like the fruit, to be wound up and to play a part?
I never thought of it like. I mean, I really didn't know what it means, but like that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
So this movie was actually rated X on its release. It was one of 2 movies to ever be rated X upon a release, and the other one was Midnight Cowboy. Do you guys feel like it was worth the rating?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I said during the film, if anyone ever asks me moving forward, what's like a hard R? Because I think it's rated R now.
Yeah.
Like drop down from X.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, Clockwork Orange is a hard R. Like that is a hard, very mature movie.
Yeah.
That no one under 17 should be ever allowed to see it.
No.
Yeah, like I used to watch movies, like my parents never really like monitored what I watched because they're like, it's just TV. And I don't think it messed me up too bad. But like if I would have stumbled upon this at like 15.
Oh, I would be literally scarred for life.
Like,
I was on the
You'd be scarred for life, or you'd be the next Alex.
Well, that's
I would probably do anything I can to not be Alex.
Yeah.
If I was, because like
it's like
first 20 minutes, first 20 minutes was just terrible. I mean, like it was very well filmed and everything like that, but like that was just terrible to like put in a movie. Like
honestly, like another fun fact
no
is
reservations.
that Kubrick did pull it from the UK because kids were dressing up like Alex and acting like him. There were 2, I think, murders by people who like he did things like Singing in the Rain. They beat someone up to it, and someone had dressed up like the gang and like killed a little like a younger kid and killed a little girl or something. I didn't really read it in depth, but just 2 crimes and 2 were like, get it out. England can't handle it.
England can't handle it.
But I want to talk quickly since I mentioned it. The Singing in the Rain scene. Oh.
when he was in the tub.
So
no,
great.
First one, the rape scene.
The rape scene,
okay.
The first one where he breaks into the house. The gang breaks into the house and takes the 2. Yeah,
just eerie. That's
just like I've never thought about that song and like now just like thinking about that song, it's like so disturbing.
And that scene didn't have any music. It was him singing a cappella.
Yeah. Once Kubrick, like because they did the shot a bunch of times, it wasn't working. Kubrick's like, just dance and sing. I want to see how that looks. And the only song that Malcolm McDouglas could think of was Singing in the Rain. So we did the scene because it's all one take. Another great use of takes. We'll get to that in a minute. And he just does it all. And Kubrick's like, I'm gonna go buy that song. Like. He's
Did
like,
he actually buy that song?
Yeah, he went and we paid the rights for it. It was like 10 grand for that song to use. Okay. But then years later, when Malcolm McDowell ran into the writer of the song at a party, the guy did not like him.
Really?
He's just like, I did not want my song to be a part of that.
Well, yeah, he gave that song such a bad name because it's like such a beautiful song that's been like.
I mean, it had that great other movie scene. I forget what movie. Maybe it's. I don't know, where the guy's like in the like singing in the like rolling on the papers. Maybe that's him. I don't even know what that's from, but that was so iconic. And then to switch that and be like almost on the complete dark side of what that song is. Like,
yeah, for real.
But it was so good. Why he sang it in the bathtub, I don't know. Because he realized who his house was. He's like, you know what song I shouldn't sing? That one. Probably just sing any other song.
Except Beethoven's Ninth.
Yeah, I was going off of that. Like after the experiment, I just thought, seeing him not being able to hear something that was like so important to him, that's like crushing to me.
Yeah,
and I think it's crazy that this is just what I think. Like when he was in the bathtub, like he couldn't sing the ninth, and I just feel like the only other song that he's like used to singing is that song.
Yeah. Like I understand why he's singing. Yeah. Like I'm with you. But during the experimentation, that they asked him like, are you partial to music? And he's like, yes, I love music. And they're just like, sorry.
Okay.
Like, okay.
We're gonna ruin that for you.
That's ruined. You're now gonna like television, kinda, and you're gonna be good.
Yeah. That was just it's so interesting too, with that whole scene with that you know, like he like wasn't supposed like those machines aren't meant to be like the way he sat in it. So like he hurt his eye doing it. There were supposed to be longer takes there.
Yeah,
and
and the
like,
guy who was eye dropping him was a real doctor on set, so that his eyes wouldn't dry out. Like, I don't know who refused because I don't think Kubrick cared, but it got into his Alex's contract where he needed the doctor sitting there just so they could do all the takes and have like do takes over hours instead of stopping every couple minutes for him to blink.
Okay.
And so yeah, kind of talking on shots and everything. Just what an amazing job Kubrick does with that camera.
That was so good. Like he really utilized like the long shots like to the best of his ability. Like, and it really showed like the camera work that was put in and like the amazing job that these actors did because they had to do these takes that were like so long. Yeah, like some of them were like 5 minutes.
That the sex scene, the threesome sex scene where it's sped up, that's a 27-minute scene, and they filmed it straight, and they sped it up and put it in the movie into like a minute block.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you watch modern movies and they cut. I think I can't remember. Is it a minute and a half or like the longest ones right now? Like they don't last long.
Oh,
like,
they don't last long at all.
And it's interesting because you hear actors talk about it and they're like, oh yeah, usually I don't have my lines memorized. You know, I'm in hair and makeup forever. So that's when I read at the day's scenes and I kind of get them down and like a cut in between like them setting up. I can always read more. But like when you have to do a take that long, you have to have it down pat. You have to get it ready to go. You have to be like, okay, this is how I'm doing it.
And this is
yeah, and it's something that gets lost in the early like newer movies just because with the ability to not have to use film, we can use digital. You can cut and you can edit it really easily, like because they're easier files to deal with. But man, what an art form that's being lost, and that's like when you actually do see it in the modern day. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like I didn't even like notice like the long shots until Connor told me to like kind of watch out for the long shots, and like I really noticed all of them throughout the movie, and that just made it a better watch for me, I think.
One interesting movie that if you really want to see the use of long shots or like long takes really well is, you know, Birdman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen it?
No, but I've literally been told to watch that by like everybody.
It's designed.
Christopher Nolan does a couple good long takes as well.
It's designed to look like one take through the whole
thing.
Yeah. So it just looks like
it's not one take, but it's just like he'll walk into a dark doorway and come out a dark doorway, and so it'll transition. And it'll seem like it was one take.
Okay.
It's one of those like
really cool,
the amount of work that goes into those. And, like you have to know everything. Everything's got to fit right, and then it's crazy.
You gotta give props to the directors that piece all these together. Really.
Yeah. When you really hit that art form level, when you're like on Kubrick's level, doing crazy crap, and man, I think it was funny too because this is an early Kubrick, you know. Malcolm McDowell didn't know who Kubrick was, but Kubrick refused to have anyone else play Alex than him.
Really?
Yeah, he's just like, that's the guy. He's Alex.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Kubrick knew.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's one of those really interesting, you know, kind of like situations of characters being developed throughout the film, and then you're kind of stuck with like the anti-hero, and you're like, I don't really like this guy, and you're waiting for the hero to come in. There really was never a hero in this one. No. It was
just all evil.
It was all victims.
Yeah.
In some way or another.
Yeah. Everyone was either using someone else or being used by someone else.
Yeah.
And it's a hard movie. Like it is not for the faint of heart.
Definitely takes a minute to digest.
Yeah.
I thought it was good though.
I really enjoyed it.
I would definitely recommend it to other people.
Yeah.
With a disclaimer, like, be warned.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not gonna watch this movie again for a very long time. Probably like a year, 2 years, 3 years, 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least a half a decade for me.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm glad I watched it though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna think about it. Like that's one of the great things about this movie. It's like I'm going to be somewhere someday just doing nothing, and something's gonna remind me of it. Like Singing on the Rain's gonna come on. I'm like, oh man, think about that movie.
That just gives that. Oh, I'm never gonna think of that song the same now.
Yeah. It's like for the rest of the time in my brain, they might just throw this up on the screen sometime. I'm like, oh yeah, remember that movie?
Ugh.
I was messed up. One other thing I want to talk about, we kind of hit a few motifs early on with like control and man, like human nature. But I just want to talk quickly about the purple hair that was seen throughout the film. I thought that was really interesting. I didn't really catch it until like the fourth or fifth. I just was like, that was interesting.
It's supposed to be all the important ladies in his life, right? Like
I think so. That's
the
what
women that
seemed.
changed the course of like the direction of his life.
Yeah.
They wore the purple hair.
Yeah, because that's what it seemed. Because his mother's wearing one. The girl in the rape video is wearing one.
The girl he murders
is wearing one. The
One of the
doctors who
nurses.
comes back and like does his thing is wearing one.
Yep.
Like
And then the final scene, the
girl.
the girl
Yeah.
in his dream at the end.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's this interesting use of purple that really like kind of doesn't fit in. Like you were obviously wigs. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You sort of look over it because it like took place in the late 60s, early 70s, but it's still Kubrick film, so like it means something.
It means something, yeah.
yeah. And I also think there is a little bit of red use. I don't really understand but a lot of the other women who weren't that Heather had red hair.
Yeah, right. Like
Interesting.
I literally just noticed that as you said red.
Because
All the women had either like purple hair or red hair.
yeah. And there wasn't very high women in the movie.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there was the two girls he does the sex scene with were blonde and brunette, like
Yeah.
dark hair. But they really kind of
they
served.
They didn't matter.
So that kind of like for Alex, the blonde and the brunettes are the ones he has a lot of fun with.
Mm-hmm.
The red ones are the ones he likes to torture, and the purple ones is the ones that kind of like get in his head and like he tries to rebel against.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's what I would see. It was interesting to see or try to piece together what Kubrick's trying to do with that. And
Yeah.
I tried to look it up a little bit while watching, but I couldn't really find anything that was talking about it. But yeah, this is an amazing movie. I think if you guys want to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, just kind of.
Yeah, I'd give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe a 9, like 8 to 9.
What do you think, Connor? I need to think about this more.
You know, I'm on with Patrick, 8 to 9, probably an 8.5. Definitely good, definitely great, definitely hard, definitely not a like let's throw in. I don't know.
Definitely,
like Animal House.
Definitely not a movie you want to rewatch right away.
No, not a Breakfast Club.
Not a Breakfast
I
Club.
love it.
It's so good. It's a movie like it's like one of the few movies I've ever gotten out of going like let's throw it back on. Like,
So I guess as an average moviegoer, I did really like this movie, and before your ratings, I was thinking like a 7.5. But I think I wanna. I give it a good 8.5 because that was like besides all like the disgusting things that were featured in this film, it was a great movie. Like that was a really good movie.
I'm just thinking now, since we watched it here at home and not, anywhere else, can you imagine what this had to be like in the theater?
Oh no. I imagine there were riots and people walking out. Like,
Oh, they probably.
I imagine society couldn't handle it right away.
Yeah.
It just seems like one of those movies that if we were this age at then we would go see it. Like, oh, Kubrick's putting out a new film. It's rated X, second movie ever. We're going. We'd show up at the movie theater. It would start, and we'd be like, "What did we get ourselves into? I can't watch this with people." Like,
I just picture myself being like one of those group of teenagers that like go to this movie with like, and there's just a bunch of adults and like older people, and like all of the adults and older people leave like once it starts getting gross, and all like the teens stay.
Yeah.
Right?
I can imagine this being on a poster. People started to sell tickets to it. Come on in, see this movie. You'll have a good time.
Like you can see this if you want.
Yeah,
It's not bad, but
yeah, it's really good, but it's really hard. So,
yeah.
So that should be the tagline: A Clockwork Orange. It's really good, but
Really
it's really
hard.
hard. Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. This has been Soft Focus. I am your host, Connor Hamilton, and today with me I have...
I'm Matt Shahwan.
And Patrick Guinen.
And just thank you again for listening. Have a great day.